I just like the fact that it's based around letters. You don't really have to have an artistic background. I don't consider myself to be an artist, you know, I'm a writer. So next week, we will definitely be doing your boards, right? Yeah, the paint's good. So just make sure...
Rubber, rubber, where's rubber?
Whichever you prefer. Whichever you prefer.
Where's the rubber? Where's rubber?
No, but I'm using rubber stuff.
The boys have got one over there, you've got one over here. No, you got rubber there. It's alright, leave it there, Well, when I first started out, I didn't really focus too much on the quality of what I was doing. It was more about just getting my name out and getting myself known from that, which is mostly how people start out anyway. So I was going out, I was tagging, I was doing dubs, chromes, whatever you call them these days, throw-ups, just getting my name out there really. But I was always interested in trying to take it further, you know, like develop it so it's more of a skill. So I got into that quite quickly. So by the time I got picked up for it, I was already doing pieces like murals and whatnot. So it's a little bit easier to argue the fact that what I was doing was some form of art. When I started out, I mean, now I teach graffiti, you know, like I work with young people, but when I started there wasn't any access to that. So all you had was the train lines and old buildings, old warehouses, things like that. So when I started, that's what I was doing. I was painting wherever I could and hopefully getting away with it. Caught up with me in the end, but I was lucky, you know, got me early. I chose the name Kilo mainly because it's the letters that really attracted me to it. I like the way that they sit together. Like, you can work quite nicely with the K and the I and the L and the O. There's quite a nice kind of link between them, even though a lot of people don't like the way they sit together. Also, the whole like weight factor. You know, it's like being a heavyweight in the game, especially within the hip hop term. So yeah, mainly that. I'm not a big drug dealer. Wish I was. I'll be dressed better than this. The thing for me is I enjoy teaching. A lot of people don't. Some people don't like working with kids, like full stop. I know plenty of amazing writers who just can't relate to kids. And maybe it's because I'm a parent, maybe it's because I'm young at heart, I don't know. But I personally quite like it, you know. Even the challenge of it, because they're not all angels. You know, even some of these group, they ain't angels. But I like to see the potential. Since around 1995, so what's that, 15 years, I guess. I've been teaching, like, I did my first workshop, I think, in about 1995. And since then, regularly, I've been teaching graffiti workshops, which is what I do here. So I have young people come in, they register, they come along, we teach them how to like do basic outlines, teach them the history of graffiti as well, because a lot of the young kids these days, either they don't know or they don't care about it, and I feel it's important to actually understand where it came from. So I go over all the history, then we go over the basic design techniques, how to create their own letter forms, which is what these guys are working on. And then we teach them like can control, the basics of like using spray paint. And then it ends up with them producing their own kind of like full-size artwork, which these guys are just working towards at the moment. They're not quite ready for that, but almost on it. So yeah, it's kind of like the whole graffiti vibe in a nutshell. If you imagine graffiti's like a tree, yeah, so you've got the main trunk, which is kind of like what I do, subway style graffiti, the traditional style graffiti, whatever you want to call it. then you've got branches that are coming off of it. So you've got your stencil art, you've got your urban art, you've got your whatever calligraphy, you've got all these sort of, even like wheat paste and all that sort of stuff, you know. It's not personally stuff I like to do, but it comes off this one central thing. So I think there's room for it, but the problem is, it's the public's comprehension, the public's understanding, you know, and they don't understand that it all comes back to geezers that were in the 60s and 70s running around in the subways in New York. You can't deny where it came from, and I do feel that a lot of people try to do that. The ultimate enjoyment for me really is the satisfaction of knowing that some of these young people hopefully will go on and do what I do now, perhaps, you know. And not all of them have got a good start in life, you know. So, I mean, I'm not exactly a bad student, a bad kid, but didn't exactly have a great start in life myself. So to be able to kind of like do something positive, seeing people who I've taught, that inspires me to keep going. The thing that I really want to get into now, which I'd quite like to put out there, is, as you can probably guess, I do like to talk about it. I want to try and work my way into lecturing. It's been such a massive part of my life since I was like 13, 14. 50% of my life virtually has been given over to graffiti, you know, and still to this day, really. I think I'll always be involved in some way, as much as I can help it, but obviously going out on a weekend, painting a wall, at some point that's going to become an issue, whether it's the fact that I've got a Zimmer frame and I can't carry a bag of paint, or I can't even talk. Who knows? But yeah, sometime you'll probably see me. You'll see me on the TV show, hear me on the radio, I don't know.